understanding that you're in a new box and that you're going to have all this new energy coming at you, and now you've figured out how to put your energy into certain spots, you have to now be consistent and always double down on the things that you've just now learned. What does that look like? That means you must remind yourself on a daily basis that what you want is out there and you are deserving and can have it. But you have to always push through all of the barriers that may present themselves as a problem. As you go through your new experience, your life changes, you start to get all this new energy, you start to garnish all these new relationships, you're going to also have to always be diligent and consistent with how you're rating, how you're staying aware, and how you're going about keeping these relationships in check. You don't want to, again, default and go back to putting yourself in a box that you just fought so hard to get out of. The part where things get interesting, and we alluded to it in another video, was that when you leave your box and you leave people behind, because you're just going to have to, not all of us operate on the same frequency, not all of us are going to the same heights, not all of us have the same purpose or desire or achieve a certain goal. The people that you leave, you were imprinting on them as you were in their circle. As you leave someone's circle, you're taking a part of you out of them. And you being such an energy field, sometimes that pool of energy is what gave certain humans the ability to operate in the way that they do. Now, we all have our own choices and decisions, but you know when you're around certain people that you've relied on, not only maybe for the image, but for the energy that they brought or the source of something that they brought into your life, that when you have to let them go or when it's time for the two of you to part, it becomes a bit more difficult because that energy is something you can recognize yourself with. And so this is to give you understanding that not only do you have to double down and be consistent, you must allow all of these old connections to die off, because when you take yourself out of one circumstance to the next, you're leaving behind your old past or your old box. The people that were in your old box, doesn't matter who they are, have an image of you in their brain. That image is imprinted in them. Your energy and what they felt from you is imprinted in the way that they see you or perceive you as a being. Now that you're no longer there, it may seem like they want you or they're trying to hinder you or pull you back or keep you in the box. If they take you out of the equation, you are such an integral part of who they were that they don't know how to function. They also are then having to recreate their box. That's why we have this crab in a barrel effect. But nevertheless, you can't bend to the crab in the barrel effect, because this is your journey. This is your path. If what you're choosing is forcing you to elevate your mind, your spiritual state, and your physical state, and the people that used to be in that old box with you are not trying to do that, you must shed. And the reason why we speak about shedding is because it's a part of your consistency in staying in the same frequency that's bringing you the abundance that you're so calling for. And yes, is it hard? Yes. But you must realize that that crab in the barrel mentality has to go. The shit that people used to bring upon you because that's how they perceived you has to go. The doubt, the guilt that you may feel because you're in a new space, because you're loving yourself at a deeper level, has to go. Take all of your experiences that you have now chosen and recreate yourself and understand these are the choices that you are making, not for other people. You're not making this shit for the people that were in your old box, nor the new people that have come in your box. You are making the decisions for you. So knowing that, you must operate in such a space that allows you to understand that you have the ability to create and build anything that you want. And it's not in the confines of someone else's box, nor is it in the confines of somebody else's mind or how they perceive you or how people are going to treat you, right? You have a goal. And if your goal is to create and be creative, go create and be creative. And let the world bend to you. And you must realize that you can't have shame or doubt in choosing you. And that's a consistent message that you have to continue to tell yourself nonstop. I made this decision because it's what I wanted to do. No explanation needed. A lot of us do that. I used to do it too, where it's like, I'll make a decision and now it's, oh, I need to explain myself. You don't need to explain shit unless you must. There's no need to explain yourself to no man. You made a decision because that's what you wanted to do. You're doing what you do because that's what you need to do. Full stop, period. And for the old folk that are trying to keep you in the barrel, bro, relinquish them. Because a lot of people's image are linked to those around them. You have to think about this. Really understand this and deep this. Before you get to a space of self-love and understanding of who you are and building your own image to the world that you want to broadcast to the world, you have to understand that that's built on something. We've spoken about this many times before. The foundations that you set to lay your feet down and start to walk into life are not put together by you because you weren't here to do so. So when you get to the conscious level that you say, I want to be such person, you then need to strive to be that person. However, if you don't get to the point of self-love, because a part of you choosing a new box, you choosing to love yourself, you choosing to build upon your own understanding of what you want to be in this world, everything prior to you getting to that point was people that were connecting to you. Your closest, and they talk about this, your closest 5 friends, right? Not only can you tell someone's income, that's the biggest thing, where you're going to be in life, but you can understand who a human is with the 5 people they hang out with the most. That's a thing, because we're very influenced by a community. We're community-like beings. We want to be around people that are like us. Therefore, the 5 people that are around you are probably a very good representation of who you are. And so the crab in a barrel idea is that imagine that 2 to 3 of those people that cemented who you were leave. You will feel a piece of you is leaving. An energy is leaving. An ideal that probably kept you sane to a degree is leaving. Therefore, the image of yourself that you once knew, because you don't love yourself, you're very highly influenced, right? In this hypothetical, when those 3 people leave, your image is fractured, and worse, pieces may be missing because the people that kept you or kept your image intact have now gone. And this is why it's very important to stay consistent, because what you might realize is when you go into your new box and you love yourself enough to get up and move and detach yourself from all the things that held you back before, you may find that you're leaving cracks in your image because it's not fully cemented yet. You must give yourself enough time to love yourself. You must find a way to get to a point where loving yourself is now a habit. So now when you're alone, this image that you've created is cemented and it's your own. But because you've just now figured out that loving yourself is the only way to really showcase and broadcast who you want to be to the world, you have to know that that takes consistency. Understand that the people around you that are affecting you either have to go or be put at a minimal. Keep this consistent, which is figuring out and being aware of what you're letting in. As much as we may think that the ports that used to keep us down, or the ports that people used to tether themselves onto, are fully closed, when you first start loving yourself, bro, you're gonna have to figure it out. You get there along the way. You don't just one day you wake up, boom, and I love myself. No, it's a habit that you have to stay consistent with until it's second nature. And then years go by and now it's like, this is who I am. I don't really care about what the fuck these people think about me. They don't really provide to my image. It doesn't really matter. Go about your business, right? And then now you're a separate entity, but you're within people that are like-minded, because it, again, is a pool of energy that you can then tap into and tap out of when you need. But your source energy is not built upon that circle or that 5 like it used to be. So you gotta stay consistent, bro, all the time. Reinforce every ideal that you believe is true to you. You must stand on it and keep it there. If you know that you want to be this artist, and you know that this is where you're headed, and you know that this path is the one that is for you, you must always reinforce, stay consistent, and always be true to that one decision that you chose, because there's no other way. If you don't stay consistent, you're allowing yourself to cause the fracture within your newfound foundation, and the old habits that may have kept you tethered before are now coming back and finding their way into your life again. And this is the problem. That not only is doubling down on what we said before about people tethering you and influencing you and pulling you back, but it's like you're giving up the new foundation that you just figured out, maybe because it's too hard. And if it's too hard for you, that just means that it's new. You have to stay consistent even when new problems pop up or new things pop up in your life, because the only way you're going to be able to expand. When you're expanding your brain, expanding your life, expanding your box, you're going to go up against new problems because you're inserting new things into your life. So as you start to push new things into your life, new problems will pop up, which means you have to double down on the same problem solving. When you see new problems, when you have to create new habits, when you get into hard times because the things that worked for you in the past no longer work, and so the new things aren't working, when anything presents itself, always double down on the expansion rule. Allow yourself to be extended. Allow yourself to be stretched. Let life teach you things that are hard and may seem hard in the beginning, but then in the end will teach you the lesson that you can then draw back on and double down on as another problem may pop up, because they're the only things that help you and keep you going in this lifetime. And I know that was a lot to swallow, but you gotta be able to expand and understand that the lessons that are thrown at you in life are not to destroy you. Maybe because you've gotten to this new box or this new area of living that your mind is overwhelmed and stressed because you've now let go of your old box. You're jumping into the new box, but these things are so foreign to you that you don't know how to function. Sit down and breathe and understand that everything that got you over past obstacles can then be remembered and drawn back upon and then used to continue to conquer this problem. And at the bare minimum, all you need to do is breathe. And if you just follow what you know you're doing to expand yourself and stay consistent on the path of this is the goal that I'm looking to achieve, let me continue stepping, and just put one foot in front of the other, your goal will have to be realized at some point, right? But if you feel like this is too much, this is a new box for me, I don't, these are new people, I miss the people that were in my old box, you're either gonna take steps backwards and regress, or you're gonna stand still, and that's not an option. Standing still cannot be an option, because you'll resent yourself at the end of the day, because when you realize that you stood still for 30 years, you'll be 70. You can't allow yourself to stand still just because hardship comes. Rely on what you know gets you through. Rely on what you on the same principles that I've given you before. Rely on the things that you know work in your life, stepping one foot after the other towards a specific goal that brings value to people will give you fulfillment. And you know, as you trot down there and you continue to add value and sprinkle value in whatever facet that you do, or whatever facet that you know, that you will find fulfillment as you walk, and that will be the boost that helps you go on and cut through. I know it's hard. I know your new box is difficult. I know it's not the easiest to overcome, but you will do it as long as you stay consistent and persistent upon the things that you know work, right? So do what works, and don't let the crab barrel mentality, right? Don't let I need to show off and explain myself to people. Don't let, these are new people so they can have all my energy. No, you're doing this for you. This new box is for you to relish in, to love, right? To design, to create. So do exactly that. Create and fall upon the lessons and understanding of the tools that life has geared you with through old past experiences.
Boy, Mr. Brown.